Hey guys, coming to you from the International Builder Show 2019, and we're here at the Huber booth. You know, these guys have been a show sponsor for a long time. They make some great products. If you're not familiar with them, before I tell you what's new from Huber, let me tell you what I like about these guys and why you should consider them. You know, there's a lot of companies that make waterproofing products, and there's a lot of house wraps here at the show. But what you get when you get the Zip system is not just a great water barrier, you get a great air barrier as well. And that's really the big advantage of moving over to the Zip and what they call the Zip revolution. Now they've got a couple displays this year that I wanted to show you that show you some of the benefits of the products. And right here is the first one. They've got a freezer down here that's at 0 degrees, and they've got 3 flashing products in that freezer. 3 pretty typical flashing products. They've got their Zip tape in there. They've got an Asphalt base tape, and they've got a Butyl base tape. Now these other tapes, as builders, we refer to them over the years sometimes as stick and peels. And I think that this display that they've got going is really gonna show you why builders call it that and what's the advantage of Zip versus those. The 3 adhesives that we've got here are pretty common in the marketplace: Asphalt, Butyl, and Zip. Now what does Zip have on theirs that these others don't? Zip is an acrylic base tape. So here's the Zip on the last one here. The acrylics, when they stick, they have an initial tack, and of course you need to roll them. Really, no matter what tape you use, you need to roll it. But the beauty of the acrylic tapes, let's roll these real quick before I do it. So here we got their Zip roller that's got the little typewriter Z on there. We're gonna make sure these are rolled really well. Now remember, these were about 0 degrees when they came out of the case a minute ago. The big difference on the acrylics is that they build adhesion in time, whereas the Asphalt and the Butyls, it's as good as it gets right now. So let's start with the asphaltic tape right here and see how easy it is to peel. Not very hard. And in fact, that's why builders call these stick and peels. Now this is cold weather testing here, but honestly, this happens just as easily. Look at that, it was like nothing. And that is a Butyl-based tape. Now Butyl's a great product because it doesn't react with other things like those do, but acrylic is the next generation. And look at this, I gotta use 2 hands to get that off. And the cool thing about this is it's actually gonna build adhesion in time. So this is not as good as it gets. In fact, if I were to leave this on for a day or 2, or even for 6 weeks or a year or 2, this tape's gonna stick even better in time. And that's the big deal with these guys. Now that was cold weather testing. Let's talk about hot weather. Now I did a video at the UT Durability Test Lab in Austin probably 4 or 5 years ago. And honestly, at that time, I was a little more skeptical about this tape-based system, about this Huber Zip, which was the new guy in the market. Of course, they were 7 or 8 years old at that time, but I'm a skeptical builder. So I went out to the Durability Lab, and they had this great test where they had all these test racks out in the Texas heat where it gets to be 105, 110 out. And you know which tape looked incredible even several years after being in the sun? Was that Huber Zip tape. And this display over here really shows the story. In this hot weather testing, now there is a specific ASTM test for that, you can see how much better that looks than the other tapes that were based on either Butyl or Asphalt. It's a big story there. And speaking of tapes, one of the big reveals this year is all kinds of new options for you. They've got 13 different SKUs, meaning 13 different flashing tapes. They've got stretch tape in different sizes, and they also have smaller roll sizes. So if you're a remodeling contractor, you're just doing, let's say, 3 or 4 windows, you don't need a giant roll of this. It might sit around to your next job a year later. You can get smaller rolls. And by the way, you can not only get this at your local lumber yard, you can get it on Amazon now too, which is pretty cool. The other reveal this year, which I thought was cool, was they've got a valley flashing tape. If you're doing Zip roofing, in the valleys for years, they only had the smaller tape, but now look at this. They've got the 12-inch roll. They've got a great display over here showing how to use this valley flash, and that's really gonna protect those areas with this nice wide 12-inch roll. Tons of options here. Guys, check out my other videos. We did a Zip 2.0 video talking about all their fluid applied flashings. Whatever flavor you like, whatever you're most comfortable with, you can choose. Zip's got a ton of options. I gotta get going because we're about to do some social awards though. From the International Builder Show 2019, thanks for joining us, guys. For more information on anything we talked about today, there'll be a link in the description. Otherwise, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We'll see you next time on The Build Show. Yes! Nice work, guys. Thank you very much.